So let's look at an extended response question. This one's from the 2018 Exam 2. Question 4. Beginning in the year 2021, a new company will take over the maintenance of the same 2,700 kilometres highway with a new contract. Let MN be the state matrix, the initial matrix, or the state matrix that shows the highway maintenance schedule for this company for the nth year after 2020. The maintenance schedule for 2020 is shown in M0 below. That's the initial matrix. For these 2,700 kilometres of highway, the matrix recurrence relation below can be used to determine the number of kilometres of this highway that will require each type of maintenance from year to year. So we have here our recurrence relation and our M0, our transition matrix, and our B. Now, you'll notice here that B, we don't know all of it. What we do know is that it's always 2,700 kilometres of highway that they are going to have to maintain, right? It's never more, never less. It's always 2,700 kilometres of highway. Now, this might end up being configured a bit differently. However, it's always 2,700 kilometres. So if you added those up, you get 2,700 kilometres. So even for M1, it's still 2,700 kilometres of highway. So looking at B, here, well, our question is write down the value of K in matrix B. So looking at B, we see, well, okay, 60 kilometres is taken out of the system here. So that means we've got to put back 60 kilometres. So if 60 kilometres are taken out, we've got to put into the system 60 kilometres because there's always going to be 2,700 kilometres. So we've taken out 60, there's 10, 20, so 30 have been put back. So that means K has got to be 30, okay? That we're putting in 30 kilometres there. We're taking out 60 here, so we've got to put back in 60 here in order so that we're not, from year to year, doing any more, any less than 2,700. So, how many kilometres of highway are expected to be graded, G, in the year 2022? So M0 is 2020, so M1 is 2021, so M2 is 2022. All right, so let's look at our calculator. Now I've loaded those matrices in already to save us a bit of time. So there's our transition matrix. I've put to variable T, there's B, and there's M, our initial. Okay, so M1 is going to be T times M plus B. Okay, so you can probably see there that it does add up. And if I were to do our summing matrix, which you might remember, wrong way round, isn't it? One row, 4 columns, 1, 1, 1, 1, times by that, 2,700. Okay, so now that's our M1. So our M2 is our transition matrix times by our M1 plus B is that. So I'll write down the matrix. So 4, 5, 7, 400, 363, 1480. Okay. So there's our matrix. Now that's not what we've been asked to do. We've been asked to give how many is meant to be graded. So that's our top one. So that's 457 kilometers. You must extract the relevant information from the matrix if you're just asked for one thing. So just letting you know, for part A, 39% of the state got that 1 mark. And for part B, the students who found K correctly were often able to answer this. So 23% of the state got 1 mark here. Some wrote the correct matrix and did not extract that answer, so did not get the mark. So while they prove that they found that matrix, because they didn't extract the actual needed piece of information, they didn't get the mark. Okay, so you must be careful there. So I've got one more question to look at. And this is from a Northern Hemisphere exam 2. So again, extended response, 2018. This was a question 4 also. Areas of farmland in the region are allocated to growing barley, corn, and wheat. This allocation of farmland is to be changed each year, beginning in 2019. The table below shows areas of farmland in hectares allocated to each crop in 2018. So that's n equals 0, and 2019, n equals 1. Okay, so we've got this detail here. Okay, so you can see barley, corn, wheat in 2018 and 2019. So the planned annual change to the area allocated to each crop can be modelled by, we've got our recursion relation there and our transition matrix there. So HN represents the state matrix that shows the area allocated to each crop n years after 2018. Q is a matrix that contains additional fixed changes to the area that is allocated to each crop each year. Okay, so whether that's new areas coming in. So let me just have a look. So that's 4,000, 6,000 there. So that is 4,000. So it's still 6,000 hectares each year, but our how it gets allocated changes a bit. So complete H2, the state matrix for 2022. Sorry, for 2020, complete H2. Right, so let's think through our steps here. Let's think through our steps. So we know H0 and H1. Oops. So we know H1 equals our transition matrix times by H0 plus Q. So we know that, we know that, we know that. So with these three known, we can work out that one. Okay, and once we know that one, I can then go from H1 to H2 as needed. Okay, so let's go to our CAS calculator. I'll start up a new problem. So insert problem calculator. Okay, so let's put in our various things. So I might pause it while I put those in. I might actually just I've just put the one in our transition matrix, okay, to make that a little bit easier. So we've got to work out Q. So I might use solve. Okay, so H1, let's pop that in. So 3 rows, 1 column. H1 is 20 and 2000 equals, okay, T times by our H0, which was 2000, 1000, and 3000. Okay, plus, now we don't know any values of Q, but I can put in, I'll just put in B, C, W, and that's what we're wanting to solve for, B, C, W. Okay. So now we've got our Q. So Q is equal to, please note it didn't come up in order, but that's okay. So B is 300, C is 300, and W is negative 600. So I've popped them there. Okay, so to work out H2, I've got to use, well, H2 is equal to my transition matrix times by H1 plus Q. Okay, so transition matrix times by, I can do a bit of copy paste, plus 3 rows, 1 column, 300, 300, and negative 600. Okay, so that is 2160 to 430 and 1410. So this got you the full 2 marks. There was a mark available for finding Q. If you only got to finding Q, you were able to get that mark. So this is why it's important to show your workings on the exam paper, because yeah, that workings could have been worth a mark if I wasn't able to find that.